From the Harley gang to the rap game, my music serve, I'm killing both lanes. All white Harley killing everything. I'm about to serve the world, man. I bleed Harley oil blood type 2050. I bleed Harley oil blood type 2050. I bleed Harley oil blood type 2050. I'm about to serve the world, man. These say I'm a knucklehead cause I'm riding around with these knuckleheads. Riding around on my Harley, Corbin seed up on my Harley, candy paint on my Harley, dripping wet on my Harley, couple racks on my Harley, music bang on my Harley. I need a bad girl on my Harley, like Rihanna on my Harley. Pop the clutch on my Harley, front wheel up on my Harley. Rhyme fly, screaming nigga fly, full throttle till the day I die. I've been about this Harley game since I was a little man. OGs on the set know me, riders mad respect for me. Got the sauce tail getting saucy, roll can't get them up off me. I'm bossing on that road glide when I pop the clutch and make the dirt slide. I'm bossing on that street glide when I pop the clutch and make the dirt slide.
Welcome everybody to another edition of Independent Lifestyles. Tonight, I can't say enough about my guest that I have with me. And I'm just going to start it off with saying thank you for, first of all, for all the people that we have tuning in to the record numbers that were on hold, 15,000, to hear me talk to my guest, Kevin Teach Baas. So,
how y'all doing?
Without introduction, I'd like to actually introduce to you Kevin, as you guys all know, Kevin Teach Baas.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm excited. Amazing to see the numbers. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we can talk about some good stuff. Everybody excited, talk about the class, what I've been doing, and, trying to help promote, tech ed and get these high school kids learn to build stuff with their hands.
So with that actually being said, why don't you just give us a quick little teaser of where you started out? What got you before you even got to the teaching and everything? Where did you start out? Where was your passion at?
Well, I started out Milwaukee, Wisconsin, New Berlin, and, I learned through my parents. My mom and dad both ride. I'd be on the back of my dad's 52 Panhead as a kid in diapers, a 74 Shovelhead. And, I just learned from little on that motorcycles were cool, and I loved being on them. My mom rides an old Sportster. And, just through dirt bikes, moving my way up into my first Harley and to where I am now, man, it's been a lifelong, tradition. For me, it's not something I just jumped on any kind of trend or bandwagon stuff. I've been doing this since I was a little guy, and it's a family bloodline for me, it's what we do. When I go home to Milwaukee with my family, we ride together, it's all about motorcycles, and that brought us together in such a great camaraderie of just, happy times, and I'm hoping to pass that to my students in my high school class, pass on to my kids in my home here. Mm-hmm. My wife rides now, she rides an old knucklehead. So it's just cool to see that family tradition and progression. With that actually being said, there's something that I actually wanted to bring up was me and Kevin, we used to go to school together, we went to college together. So UW Stout.
We're Stout. But it was kind of funny is because we're both, well out of the college era and/or, when we actually went around well past that, 20 some years past that. And here it is. We both show up at a motorcycle show, the Donnie Smith show. I'd like to give a plug to Donnie Smith. Appreciate that show, Neil
Ryan. Yeah.
All right, Neely. Saw you today, buddy, at the shop at the dealership. But with that being said, it was just kind of funny that we're both at the same show. We happen to have booths right next to each other. And for the whole day, I'm just trying to get our booth and staring at, I guess, how our booth was set up and some other things. And then I got on the phone, and as I'm on the phone, I turned, and then I see this belly on this man that I knew wasn't there before. But with everything being, it was so cool just to see one of your, college buddies in the same industry, top of his game, doing it big, and then to hear his career. And so this is another reason why I'm so happy right now with where he's at, him being here on this show. Interviewing here, walking around the Bass Acres up in this piece. So I got to give you daps on that. Bass Acres is off the chains. If you're ever invited, I suggest you come out here. And to go back to that show, when I was at that show and we were talking, one of the coolest things I think I actually took away from that entire experience was that seeing some of his students come up to him at the booth that they're promoting the chopper and school build. And then also seeing one of the students that actually had her baby with her. And that baby, I mean, just to see the baby, the mom, and then her dad was there to even thank him for having her in the class. So I can't say enough about that. And with that being said, we're actually at this video of Kevin actually making a video of some of that class experience that we're going to actually roll for you guys right now. And why don't you guys take a look at that? Because this girl in there, I think she's a great, like almost like amazing. Not saying role model, but an inspiration.
She's one of them students that every teacher wishes you could have 30 of them in class. You know, she was a hard worker, really driven to succeed and do good, listened well, understood everything I showed her, asked questions when she needed to, and just got it. You know, it was so amazing to see her just blossom as a student and go into the industry now. You know, and Harley Davidson sent a camera crew out here, and they did that. They spent a week filming us here and at this class and stuff. And it's just a neat little collaboration of stuff to come together to show why I do what I do and how it affects these kids, you know.
So right now, let's play that video for you guys so you guys can check out that. Chi, you want to roll that video?
Hard work is where it is. Nothing's free, nothing's easy. And if you can sit around on a couch and complain that life's not fair, you're never going to get off that couch. So my legacy is going to be one of hard work pays off. You know, don't mistake luck with hard work. You don't just get lucky all the time. But if you work hard all the time, luck happens to you. You know, things will come to you. I found an inner desire to, you know, kind of pass the torch or create a legacy, just from my mentors that helped show me that I was somebody that could succeed. And I only became the man I am because of the people that believed in me and helped me focus my energy. So now I want to pass that torch. You know, I don't want to forget about that, and I want my legacy to continue. So I'm going to help raise students and my children, so someday maybe they'll be sitting in this chair talking about why they're passing a legacy, and they'll say, you know what, my dad, you know. I want to make sure people take from me as much as I was given from others and keep that moving. So, you know, it's just one of those things where I keep pushing these kids in all different directions to find their niche, because that's what I needed. And once you find your niche and you can help them excel with it, they're going to succeed, you know. Andy was one of those students that, you know, I saw the light bulb in her head turn on the minute I showed her how to use the first piece of equipment, and it never stopped. That bulb only got brighter as the years progressed. From day one of actual instruction and watching her soak it in and let everything go right into her head, and then remember it and then do it and ask good questions and want to learn, I realized, oh my gosh, this is exactly the kind of student that, as a teacher, that's what you want. You want them coming in fresh and new, not sure if this is it, and then you want to lay out your curriculum and become, you know, the teacher that you always think you would be, that would really get a student's eyes to open up and turn the light bulb on. You know, you get a lot of good kids, but once they graduate, all of a sudden it's like the light switch turns off, because now real world's here, it's time to do something else, I gotta find my way. But with Andy, that light switch, she just ended up adding a second bulb to it and getting it brighter and brighter, and now she wants to pursue this. She's gonna do good things. I'm gonna help her any way I can to take her education as far as she can and be successful. You know, one of the things that really helps my class thrive and is going to keep it alive is the support I get. Without any industry support and people outside of my classroom, you know, building, helping us, we just don't have the funds. We don't have what it takes to keep it going. You know, I'm a one-man show with a very small budget trying to do something that I see as good for kids. And what's really kept this dream alive and brought it to the next level is my sponsors, you know, people in the industry stepping up. And, you know, Harley's been one of our biggest promoters, sponsors, just helps. You know, the people at Harley are awesome. You know, they watch what I do and they care what I do, and they back up what I do. The Harley brand, it's a way of life. You know, it's a way to express yourself, where, you know, you can't do that with just everything. when I'm dead and gone, you know, when my children take over my place and my grandkids come in here, I want them to see walls and walls of history and stories that tell about how grandpa or great-grandpa worked his tail off, you know, to buy this farm, get a place to raise his kids, and, you know, someday be remembered as a good guy.
Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I know I did. We were just actually talking about it off camera, how cool that video was to make, as well as just to be involved in it. Do you want to give some background in that video?
You know, it was cool because they just sat me down and had me talk about life in general. Like, why do I do what I do as a teacher? You know, what's my plan? You know, I mean, everybody should have a plan. You know, you want to make your little mark in life. Some people want to make a big mark. Some people make a little mark. My mark, man, to me, I don't think it's going to be a huge mark, but the students that I've touched already, they come back and tell me it's been a pretty big mark that I helped them out with. And that's what's exciting is that I was able to just talk about how I want to be as a teacher.
Yeah.
You know, what my philosophy is. I mean, you work hard, man, things are going to happen. Don't be lazy. And this is a world now that seems to be coming to terms where people are more lazy. They just want to push buttons and look down. They don't want to use their hands. You know, what happens if we lose power in this world and you had to survive with these 10 digits? Could you do it? Yeah. Or do you need to be able to push keys to live? You know, and if that's the case, you're not gonna live.
Yeah.
You know, learn to live with these. You know, and then that stuff comes too. But you know, it's been a lifelong goal of mine to help pass on my life experiences because I was a kid who I needed shop class.
They're trades, man. They're trades. Any way you look at it, and to me, that's like you can't take knowledge away from anybody. Right. So that's the biggest thing. That
knowledge is power.
Hands down, knowledge is power, and that's the reason why. You know, I have 2 degrees. I've been trained through SNS. I've been trained through so many other programs, and I'm like a knowledge sponge now. It's because it's almost like you learn one thing, and after learning that one thing, it almost opens your brain. You're like, all right, let's update it. And the well is like, oh, I got to learn more. We got a couple questions coming in here. We got William from New York. Now that you have started this program in your school, what's been your experience as far as the kids that you're involved with?
You know, I found that it's an elective class, you know, so kids take it because they want to be there. And, you know, I know the old stigma about shop class, dumping ground, kids take it to screw off. You know, that's not how my class runs, man. These kids are learning everything from rake and trail and geometry concepts when we're working on frames. You know, how to machine spacers to make your wheel alignment correctly. You know, offset gear ratios with different sprockets, how that affects your top end. Yep. And it's exciting because, you know, we could do a textbook class where you're just doing worksheets and reading a textbook all day. And probably more than half of those kids are just because they don't want to do it. It's boring. I don't like to open a textbook too often. I just teach them what I know it's in a textbook while we're working on the bikes. And when we're done, I say, well, you see that when you did that, when you were doing your rake and trail and figuring out your geometry, look at that chapter 3, you covered that. And they didn't even realize it. You know, it's like you trick them into learning because you're doing something fun. And so the kids I have, you know, they're motivated. They want to be there. They work hard. I have no problems. You know, I mean, some of the kids in my class might be some of the other teachers' worst nightmares because they can't sit still. They need to do stuff. I was one of those kids. So I embrace those kids. Come on in here. I'll give you stuff to do. We'll have fun. We'll get you out of your seat using tools and equipment and learning stuff you can make good money with for a career. So, yeah, I mean, overall, my experience with the kids has been great, you know, and I'm a happy man. I love going to work.
William, first of all, William, thanks for the question. And for all you viewers out there, please keep on sending the questions. We love answering them, and we'll also try to make sure that Kevin or myself can get any ones that aren't answered. We got another one. We got Marcy from Manchester. What specific studies are you teaching your students from day 1 to the end of the semester?
Well, kind of like I already said, but we start with just basic frames. What's a hardtail frame? What's a swing arm frame? A soft tail frame? What are the differences? And then we go into front ends, you know, hydraulic front ends, Springer front ends, girders. Talk about the pros and cons. What's a good thing about a hardtail frame? What's a bad thing about a hardtail frame? What's a good thing about a Springer compared to a hydraulic or vice versa? We go into transmissions and primary drives, how to mount a motor, teach them how to properly shim a motor when you're bolting into the frame, just little things like that even a lot of people I know might not know.
No.
It could cause the motor to be, break motor mounts and things like that. But we'll go through all the different areas of a bike, building it from start to finish. And I'll have random pop quizzes, like our frame quiz will be like, there'll be pictures of a hardtail frame, a FXR frame, and they'll have to name them off. And there'll be different wheel sizes, tires and stuff. We talk about, aspect ratios and all the stuff you need to know. And it's just, I don't really have a set, I got to make sure I have a quiz on this or a test on that. I just gauge it by how I see the kids.
Are they learning?
If they're showing me in the classroom on the bike that they know what's going on and I can tell that they've gotten it, I don't need to say, all right, everybody sit down and study this chapter. We're taking a quiz now because you don't get it. Yeah. It's not like that. It's just an open revolving door. And these kids know that the more they give me, the more hard work they put in, the less they got to worry about doing pencil and paper because they're out there doing it with hammer and welder and, the machine. So it's, I try to cover as much as I can to make sure they're getting a lot out of it. But yet at the same time, it's an elective class and I want it to be fun. So I don't want to overburden it and just be a bookwork taking tests kind of class. Their test for me is working on a bike and showing me that they know what's up and they can do it right. And that's my kind of test. So that ain't so bad.
Well, I actually hope that answers your question, Marcy, but thank you very much for. Got another question here. Judy, she's an art teacher from Florida. Every year is a new year, and we all learn from the past year how to improve our classes. So as each year passes, what improvements or knowledge do you implement to your class each year?
Well, one thing I'm a big believer on is learn from your mistakes. You make a mistake, don't get down on yourself and throw a towel in and throw a wrench. Why did this happen? What went wrong? And how do we make it not happen next time? So every year I come in knowing right away, like, oh, last year this happened or that, especially with like welding. Like my kids are building gas tanks from scratch, just with TIG welding experience and metal forming experience. There's things that we do where I'm like, oh, make a note to myself. I gotta make sure I let them know not to make that same mistake. And here's how to avoid it. So next year we can be more efficient, but it's one of those things. It's practice makes perfect. We do it. We make mistakes. We learn from them. And that's what makes you a better person.
Like as far as your kids, like what's your average class size?
Yeah, usually like the first time I have the class around, so it's a 2-trimester class. Okay. So I get it 2 in a row. First trimester, it's always packed house, 35 plus kids. And it should only be like 24 because of safety and size. But when you get like 35 kids that want to be in the class, it's hard for me to say, well, you got to take 10 and you can't have it. I want them all to be in there. But then we work them hard, I teach them stuff and they have to truly learn how to weld and run the mills and the lathes and know about the motorcycles and use all the different tools. And then by that second trimester, that really kind of gets the kids who truly say, okay, I love this. This is what I want to do. I'm staying in. Some of the other kids, that's not what I thought it was going to be. I'm going to take something else. And it's, okay, that's fine with me. I want you to be in here because you want to be in here. Because when we're working with, an S&S motor, or a Harley Davidson motor, brand new stuff that's worth big money. You don't want some kid that doesn't care about it and just just scratched that or broke this. So it's nice. So now this last trimester, I got about 25 kids in there, and that's a good number. They're all hard workers. They want to be there. They had a chance to see it first try, and a lot of them are continuous progress. I have seniors that have had my class 2 times a year since their freshman year, and those are my big dogs that I say, all right, you're team leader of this bike. Hey, we need a battery box. Get on the CNC, CAD draw up a battery box, make it fit that, make sure the battery will fit, get it in, find a mounting system. And it's fun because I don't have to be over their shoulder. I tell them what I want and what I expect. And it could be a day later, I check in, where are you at? And I can look at it and then I can kind of help facilitate and critique them. But most of the time now, we're on the same page. They get it. They've seen me teach them in my style and how to do things. And it's fun now. It just rolls.
Honestly, as you explain that, I actually think that it just sounds like almost like they have the shop life. So let's just say they do go into a shop or they start working for, themselves on their own. They have that almost like the steps as well as the process.
Right.
Because honestly, how many times have we always wanted to do something, but we don't know the steps or the process, or we're doing them in the wrong order, or it takes us longer, or we get frustrated. And to me, it's like you're cheat sheeting, them on the things that you had to go through. And
School of hard knocks.
Yeah. And that's what I think about, when I had my shop, is just how, when mechanics would come in or people would come in, it's like, okay, let me show you some things that I learned so you don't have to go through the 45-minute, oil change where you can do it in 10 minutes, because I'm going to show you a couple cheats on here. I'm going to show you actually how to jack this up with a different device that's going to make it a quick change. I'm going to have the wheel, floating in the air, because I'm going to put it on a stand, a through bolt stand or something, to show you if you do this, it's one extra step, but 3 steps later, you're going to, love yourself. Cutting. I just think when I took the S&S class, shout out to S&S. I know that you wanted to get some
always
S&S.
Been good to us. Love you guys.
They showed us how to actually cut the push rods so that you're not pulling the motor. That's another 4 hours that you can take off by just getting a pair of bolt cutters. It's stuff like that.
When you look at the big picture, it's us passing the torch.
Yeah.
If we don't pass the torch and it goes out, it's lost.
But don't we owe it?
We owe people and I've got it from my father taught me stuff. My teachers taught me stuff that I don't ever want to forget, and I want to make sure that my next generation, students, my kids, they get it and know it and can use it and pass it on, because that's how we keep things going.
So we got a couple more. Oh, we got one from overseas. Gail from the UK. What knowledge do you want to pass on to your students when they graduate and have taken the class like yours?
The biggest thing, if you saw that video, it's hard work pays off. My classes are a foundation of, get off your butt. Don't give me an excuse. Find a way to make it work. Every problem has a solution if you want to give it a chance and not throw in a towel. When you hit a roadblock, do you stop and say, that's too hard, and walk away and go sit in an English class? You stay in my shop class and you figure it out. You problem solve, And so when the kids leave my class, I want them to know that, hard work does pay off, and there's always going to be a way to find a way to get it done, as long as you don't give up. You never give up. Don't take no for an answer. I mean, if you just feel like you hit everything, just take a break, take a breather, and come back at it. But don't ever give up and don't walk away, because, man, we don't raise quitters, because quitters, they don't win.
Damn, Skip, we don't raise quitters.
No, you want to raise kids that are going to work hard. So if I recommend them to a company for employment, that boss knows right off the bat that, it's one of Bass's kids. He's a hard worker. She's a hard worker. I know I can trust him. I'm going to tell him I need this done, and I don't have to go babysit him. They're going to have it done.
True talk on that when it comes to his word. One thing at the Donnie Smith show was probably the biggest, I guess, kind of almost, had me tearing up, is when every time he was introduced me to all these people at the Donnie Smith show, and each one of them had the same comment. We trust this guy. He's actually very knowledgeable in what he does, and he shoots it straight. He's not trying to be a corporate, talking piece. If it's a good product, he backs it. If it's a good situation, he's going to talk about it. If it's something that is really cool and it should be done, he's probably the guy you're going to be looking for. I can't say enough about, just like I said, even tonight. I mean, this is just so kick-ass to sit here and go through trials and tribulations of Kevin Bass. We're not going to go into testing right now. But what we're actually going to do is we're going to ask Chi to roll a second video that we actually have from the Mama Tried. Mama Tried's in Milwaukee. It's a great show.
Yeah, Scott and Warren, thanks for always having me be a part of it. Good buddies of mine.
Yeah, the Mama Tried, I've gone to it twice when I was down in Milwaukee. Being from Madison, that area, Mama Tried is something that we look forward to, and especially in the wintertime, trying to get us geared up. Best part I like about it is it's just almost like family. Like, it's not.
Oh, it's a homecoming.
I mean,
it's crazy.
People are walking around dreaming PBRs and artworks next to the bike, as well as the bike that you
got Willie G walking around.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's cool stuff like that.
What's cool about that show is it really brings the heart and the lifestyle a lot of us have of these old vintage cool bikes. Not like it's not just putting a skull mirror on your bike. That's a custom. These are true classics, knuckles and pans and shovels and Ironhead Sportsters and old shit, old flat trackers,
Even the new flat trackers. I mean, even the street,
the races,
the Street 500, they had a couple of Street 500s that just modded out. I was like, oh my!
You walk through that show and every bike is cool, man. It's not a fad cool. It's cool. Yeah. It's like it's cool this year. It's gonna be cool 10 years from now. Rather than like, let's just put this big front tire and that's gonna be cool for a week. No, the bikes that Mama Tried are all cool now. They're gonna be cool when we're dead and gone.
And it's almost like a piece of art or an art show. Instead of it being a bike show, they named the bike show. It should be an art show. It really should be a motorcycle art show.
Born Free's like that too in California. I was in that show 2 years in a row as a builder. And it's just, man, such a camaraderie of like-minded souls. That just, old bikes, I always say it, they have soul to them, A new bike, it's just a new bike. Or dime a dozen. An old bike though that's got history. Maybe some old farmer owned it, somebody in the war, and they got sold to him, man. It's just you touch them, and it's like you wish they could tell you the story. So cool.
Hey, we're gonna roll that video right now so you guys can see what we're talking about. So, Chi, can you roll that video for us, buddy?
Hi, my name's Kevin Baas. I'm 40 years old from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm here to give you a little Born Free Builders Invite 6 tour of what we're going to be doing, who I'm going to do it with, and what's all behind the scenes here. For a living, I'm a full-time school teacher here at Bloomington Kennedy High School, Tech Ed, career in industrial technology education. Been doing that for 16 years, and I also, on the side, for my own home shop, I have a CNC plasma cutting system, TIG welders, all the metalworking equipment to build bikes. I do a lot of vintage chopper restorations and builds, custom signs, bike parts, seat pans, jockey shift levers, sissy bars, you name it, I can do it. Frame straightening, vintage cast, aluminum repair, all that stuff. So full-time, I'm here all day at school, then I go home to my second job working on old bikes. This year for Born Free, we're going to build a 1940 ULH flathead. The ULH was the factory 80-inch flathead motor, so it's kind of a cool collectible one. The style of it's going to be real bare bones and clean. I decided to build a 40 ULH this year for the show because big twin flathead has always been something I wanted. I've been in a lot of knuckles and pans through my life, and I've collected a few of each, and I've never had the ULH, the 80-inch big twin flathead. So when I got this motor, I knew it was something special to me. I also have a matched 1940 sidecar for it and the original correct 40 frame. So eventually this bike will be put with a sidecar so I can take my boys for ice cream in the summer and use it as kind of a family cruiser. So, you know, obviously coming from Minneapolis to California is going to be a big haul. But it's exciting because not only am I a part of some great builders who I look up to and respect, but it helps me showcase what I'm doing with you, with my students here, you know, and get the word out on the Kennedy Chopper class, help build sponsorship. And part of that sponsorship already came on with Harley Davidson. They're going to sponsor the build. They're going to pay for it to be shipped out to California and brought back here to the school for me as kind of a thanks for being part of the Harley Davidson family. And Harley's been really good to us. We have one of our bikes in the museum right now. And we can't thank Harley enough and Born Free for just having us be a part of this. If you were going to ask me what do I think of Born Free, it's definitely, man, it's like the cool as far as bikes are concerned. You walk through the fairgrounds, the parking lot outside, the bikes with the invite builders, and all you see is just great stuff. There's a lot of really good, talented builders out there. It's so much bigger than just the invite builders. You know, we're just a small collection of guys that are building something neat for the show, but you walk around, there's thousands and thousands of other really cool bikes that are show worthy. So I think Born Free is, you know, it's just an amazing experience. You know, if you like old bikes, you like good people, you like a good time, don't miss it. Where do I get my inspiration for my builds? Well, it definitely comes from my father. I grew up around old bikes. My dad's been on Harley since before he went to Vietnam. He had his first knucklehead when he was 14. I first heard about Born Free, obviously through the web and just through friends, and decided it's something I didn't want to miss. And the first year I went, it was Born Free 3 I was able to go. The first year they had it too early. I was still in school, couldn't go. Mike and Grant, thank God, you know, listened to my pleas and moved the show a little bit later into the summer so that school would be out. So I was ready, geared up, and by Born Free 3, I actually got on my old Harley 1947 Knucklehead Elvis, and with Warren Hare, Jordan Barnes, and a few other friends, man, we did a cross-country trip. What I think makes Born Free different than a lot of the other shows is that, you know, you won't see all these cookie-cutter baggers with all the brand-new ability parts that just came out, and everybody quick orders it up, puts it on their bike, and throws a skull on the tank and says it's a custom bike, and it's awesome. Why do I want to build a Born Free bike? Well, obviously being asked to be one of the invite builders again this year is a huge honor. It's the best show in the world in my eyes. Mike and Grant have done a great job to really get this thing going and make it a place for good people, good bikes, and a good time to all come together.
Andy Nestwell, and I'm a senior here at Kennedy Chopper Class. And this September, I'll be attending MMI in Phoenix, Arizona. And right now in Chopper Class, we're working on the Born Free bike.
Thank you, everybody, for inviting us and having us participate in the build. And like before, just make sure that if you wish to donate to Kennedy Chopper Class, talk to Bass, get those donations in. You're what keeps this class going.
So I guys hope you guys enjoyed that video. We definitely did. Once again, I can't say enough about the video, some of the cool stuff that's in it, as well as the show. Why don't you elaborate on the video?
Well, that Born Free show, man, you know, like they handpick builders from across the country.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know, they're looking for like-minded individuals that are going to build a really cool bike, but using mostly vintage parts or handcrafted, made by them parts, you know, not just open up a catalog and I'll just take one of those and one of these, one of those, custom, and bolt it together. You know? Custom. Yeah, I mean, they love the vintage, which I love. That's all. I mean, I got a knucklehead tattoo in my back. It's like I'm into it. You know? That's what I love. I've been into it since I was in diapers. So a show like that, it's cool because you walk around. Every bike is cool. Every bike's just so unique in its own way. It's no cookie cutters there. Everything's so different, man. It's just fun. So again, I want to thank Grant and Matt, Born Free. Thank you. And Warren with and Scott at Mama Tried. Those kind of shows, to be a part of it, to be recognized as somebody that he thinks building cool stuff. It really means a lot to me. And I bring that back to my classroom, my students. As we build these bikes, I show the kids, well, you know what? Maybe this part's a little crusty and rusty and old, but that doesn't mean it's junk, man. One man's junk's another man's treasure. And the old Harley parts, especially nowadays, going through the roof, you find good stuff. I mean, it's worth a lot of money. And I want my kids to know, it's not about money. You can build bikes with, I'm a teacher, minimum salary, but I got knuckleheads and panheads, and I didn't go out and spend 35 grand buying a knucklehead. I went to swap meets. I did my time. I was buying parts for those bikes, 15 years ago. A little swap meet part here, swap meet part there, put it in the rafters. All of a sudden, hey, look at this. Got enough stuff to put together.
And or I need it, like, I need a head. It's right there. Been sitting there for 8 months.
It's definitely a lifelong journey in these old bikes, and you got to know how to work on them. You got to love working on them, and it's just, man.
We'll go back to the knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
We got a little question for Hal, as long as we're talking about knowledge is power. Hal's asked, Hal from Wisconsin, appreciate you, Wissy. Do you think that a certified motorcycle certificate is important? Hal, I personally, when I had my shop, I found out that actually the better workers I had were the guys that weren't from MMI. The guys that, I swear to you, on everything, I was told this from my instructor. We were pulling the motor apart, and we were taking it down to the bearings, pulling the bearings, everything, we were powder coating it. And I said to him, is there any wear on the inside where the bearings are at? And he goes, well, I don't know what you mean. And I said, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't know what I mean? I thought you guys did that at school. And he goes, well, all the motors we work on are new and they're not used, so we don't see wear marks or anything. And that just blew me away. I'm going, all these classes and all this school, but yet you find a dude that's from, and a farmer that just happens to be, working with his dad growing up, that can go, okay, well, this is where the, residue's coming from. This is the kind of oil that we usually put on this kind of metal to make sure that doesn't lock up. This is what we use for tightening these things, or this is how I'm going to solve the problem, kind of like what you said, solve the problem without going, well, I just don't know what to do. I mean, hey, I'm a firm believer. And to me, I love meeting some farm mechanics, because those are guys that they don't have the store to go to. They're going to be resourceful. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I'm kind of split on it, because I do have some kids I see that need, they need to go and they need to get that education, because it does help them. But I also see what you're saying. There's a lot of kids who don't need that and are going to figure it out and know it. Buddy. And I'm one of those guys where I like to open doors for my students. I show them every college and university and tech school that they could go to that relates to anything with manufacturing, motorcycles, welding, machining, all that stuff, just so they know it's out there. I want to give them all the doorways, let them pick the ones they want to open. If a kid says, well, I want to go to this school or that school, I'm not going to beat them down and say, don't go there. You'll figure it out on your own. It's like, if you want to go there and better yourself, just do it. I'm all for giving these kids their chance. And, kids learn differently. So some kids need that schooling, some kids don't, and it's one of those things where, you just hope you give the kids enough opportunity and doorways to pick the right one, and you help make a good decision.
For that reason, even the kid, whoever, I guess the job he's going for, what they're requiring, hopefully, having honestly both backgrounds, like you say. it's like have that you come up, you got some hands-on, but also have the, the school book that a lot of places are going to require, just going, well, if we're going to pay you X amount of dollars, require you have some kind of schooling, some formal schooling. And that's actually one thing I did do is when I actually took the class, I actually took 2 of my employees to the SNS class, so that it wasn't like they needed it per se. It was just almost like something we wanted to actually have on our building saying we are certified in SNS. And also it was a cheap way to get the manuals. Angela from Puerto Rico. Hey, first of all, thanks, Hal, for that question. I hope that answered it. We got another question here. Angela from Puerto Rico. In your opinion, what's a good motorcycle to buy so that I can take it completely down and put it back together part for part?
You know what? Any motorcycle. Get out there, look at Craigslist, go to a junkyard, go to a swap meet. There's no real motorcycle. I would say, this is better than that. I mean, motorcycles are motorcycles. They all got different manuals, different parts, whether it's a metric or American. I mean, honestly, I'm going to say buy American, get a Harley. I love them, but I tell my students, man, there's a sport bike junkyard not too far from here. Go there, buy yourself an old basket case, bring it in, work on it. I'm not a specialty of that stuff, but heck, there's nothing you can't figure out by working on it. So really, I mean, you want to start cheap. Get a Sportster. You can get Sportsters really cheap nowadays. You want to get even cheaper than that, look for like an XS 650 or something, You can get those bikes, a couple $100, and they're cool bikes and they're customized. Put in your touch, do your thing. So, I mean, really, I would say if you're just starting out, start cheap. Buy something that you got $0 invested in it. So if you mess up, okay, no big deal. Don't go spending, 50 grand on some big crazy thing, and then all of a sudden you wreck stuff that's worth a lot of money. Go cheap. Stay under $1,000. Get your feet wet. Buy it, build it, and then if you're like, hey, okay, I learned from it. Let's do the next one. Maybe sell it, make a couple bucks, buy another one. It's a little better, and just work your way up the ladder. I mean, my first bike was an old Ironhead Sportster, and I dreamed someday to have a knucklehead, and it was just that was how I did it. I worked my way up. Buy this, build that, work on my way, and get yourself up there. It's not going to happen overnight, but hard work pays off, man.
We actually going to go off a little what he was just actually talking about. I just wanted to actually show the book that Kevin wrote, How to Build an Old School Bobber. And this is another way for people to actually consider doing it on their own and or getting some more knowledge in what they might be wanting to build.
Yeah, this is a book that I use in my class with my students, and it's just a how-to of starting from scratch. You don't have any knowledge of how to build a bike. This is going to walk you through how to pick the right frame, how to pick the right front end, what motors are going to fit in what frame, how to wire it, man. So it could help a lot of people. Some people, if you're already a master and you get it, you're going to be like, oh, what's this? I know all this stuff. It's not meant for you guys. It's meant for people that are just getting into it, want to learn. Like my students, it's a great resource for them,
Yeah. Hope that helps you, Angela, and thanks for the question from Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, I got to come on and visit. I like Puerto Rico. That sounds nice.
Especially this cold-ass Minnesota weather.
It's raining outside here in Minnesota right now.
All right, we got Zach from Tennessee. After graduating from your class, what technical training school do you recommend for your students if they wish to continue their education?
Well, with my class, and I tell everybody this right off the bat, I'm not trying to raise a bike builder out of that class, believe it or not. The bike is just a carrot that I use to dangle to have them learn skills, and a mindset of working hard and having fun. So, I mean, I have schools like North Dakota State College of Science, have amazing manufacturing training. Go there. Or MMI for Motorcycle Mechanic Institute. Go there. Our local colleges, Dunwoody, Dakota County Tech, places like that. Go there for your welding, If you like working on the bikes and stuff I'm teaching you, there's a career path you can find. It doesn't even have to be related to that bike. And honestly, in this industry, it's tough to make money just building motorcycles. But if you're an engineer or a good fabricator or welder, you're going to make a lot of money doing what you love when you're working on bikes for a little bit, but also doing this or doing that, and open up your mind and open your horizons to all kinds of projects, not just motorcycles. Look bigger. And that's what I do with the kids. I just tell them, hey, go where you think, do you have fun getting up? I always tell my kids, do you have to hit snooze 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times to get up in the morning to go where you got to go? Because you're like, or you get up before the alarm, and that's how I am. I'm up before the alarm, and it's like just because I love going in there and I have a great day. And I know people that have jobs, they don't do that. They're, on Wednesday, you know, you're talking to them and they're just like, oh, I hate my life. This sucks. And I'm just like, oh, it's great. It's Wednesday. You know, just think about Friday. It means it's that closer to Monday. Another work day, you know, and I love having time off. Don't get me wrong. You know, I mean, my nose is probably grown from talking about life and loving the work, but I do love the work. Yeah. And you know, you guys that follow me and see what I do with the students, I mean, what's not to love and have fun about doing it? So with my kids, you know, any schooling I can have them pick or place they can find to go that help them find a career, not a job. You know, job, I tell them, a job and a career are two different things.
Completely different things.
If I can help them find a way to find that career now while they're young and can make the right decisions, because you know it is. You get older, all of a sudden you got house payment, car payment, you get married, you got kids. If you hate your job and all of a sudden you got all these bills, how do you just hey, all my bills, just hold off for a couple of years. I need to go back to school and find my career. You're stuck. You're stuck. So I'm trying to teach them, make that decision now so that you have a career you're going to love the rest of your life and don't have to worry about trying to find a plan B when it's too late.
Let's actually show the piece of art.
Oh, yeah. Some stuff I do on the side. I do all the metal fabrication work, CNC plasma cutting. That's just kind of a rough knucklehead cutout because I do love my knuckleheads. But that's the other thing, you know, I can teach my kids with schooling is that, you know what, my passion, what I show them, I have a side business that I do to help supplement my income. It got me Bass Acres, you know, I mean, school teachers don't make a lot of money. That's no secret, you know? So what I did is, you know, I decided, you know, I want to work hard because I want 10 acres out here. I want a big shop. I want a farm. I want things that I can't afford. And I don't have, you know, money in the bank. I don't have a rich family that's going to give me money to buy it. I had to get it because I worked hard at it, you know? When everybody says, you're never going to be able to afford 10 acres and a big shop and a nice house because you're a school teacher, I said, well, maybe you're right for the normal guy, but I'm going to start my side business.
Somebody lost that bet because I'm here to see it. Y'all lost. And y'all lost big. It's almost like you own double right now.
It's a dream come true, but it didn't come from nothing. It came from hard work. And that's part of that Harley video you saw. I mean, in my students, what I teach them is don't let people tell you can't. Don't let them beat you down. Put your mind to it. If you want something and you truly want something and you're willing to work hard for it, you can make it happen. Anything's possible.
Yeah, I hope that actually answered your question, Zach. Got another question. Monty from California. Do you also teach your students the business end of things to prepare them for the outside world? And if they should decide to open a motorcycle shop?
Well, you know, that's a good question because I do kind of fill them in. We do some internet search on all different companies around. We have Donnie Smith, who's local, so we talk with him, and I try to let them see the reality of if you're going to be in a business like this, you know, you're not going to. The TV show era is over. Everybody saw the TV shows and thought, I want to do that, man. These guys are just partying all the time and selling a bike for $100,000. It's like drinking and partying. Yeah, sign me up. I'm going to do it. I can't even count. You too. You see how many of these big fancy brand new, they took out a big loan, big truck, big trailer, blah, 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 choppers, and that stuff's all gone. And the people that really are still in it are the ones that love it and do it, you know? So it's like
the knowledge of it. Goes back to the knowledge of it.
I tell my students, you know what, if you truly love it and it's what you truly want to do, you're going to find a way to make a living at it. You're not going to be a millionaire probably unless you come up with something really innovative and new and can, you know, manufacture something, but I'm not going to steer them away from it if they love it, but also I'm going to let them know it's not easy, man. It's not what you see on TV. You have a better chance of, you know, just going to school and get a degree in business than trying to become a famous chopper builder. I mean,
and Monty actually watched our show because he actually had some more comment because we had a show 2 weeks ago on getting jobs in the motorsport industry.
Oh, okay.
And that's half the reason we talked about you on that. And kind of what he was saying here is like, we had a couple of things related to that, and that's exactly what you're saying is like the stealth side of me and you going there. I honestly got to say that was the part that prepared me for, as they say, the bullshit that you have to deal with.
Well, I remember from that show of yours, you talked about having an exit strategy.
Yeah.
And it's like that's something I never thought about that, but I'm going to give that to my students. You know, this is what my friend Chuck, he bought my eyes. That's a really good point. If you're going to get in and invested in something, you need to have that just in case it don't work out,
and or to have it lined up. Like as much as you have, I know what I need, and this is the dollar I need to make, and all this stuff. So when are you actually going to actually show? All right, well now I have to actually, you know, pay this off, and or when is the time for me to get out, or when do I say I'm at enough?
Right.
we got some of the posters from Lakeville North Chopper Project being posted right now, and I want to give you a chance to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of big news that after 22 years at Kennedy High School, I had started a Chopper Project class back in 2003. I'm hanging her up at Kennedy and moving to Lakeville, come south here, down here where my son goes to school. And good news for it is I'm getting a huge metal shop facility, and they share my vision. They've seen all my videos, know what I do. They recruited me to come work for them to bring my passion for teaching and to revive the metal shop program and the manufacturing engineering program and get the chopper class in there as kind of like that high-end capstone project. So it's very exciting. It's like, whoa, a new wind in my sails. I've been at Kennedy 22 years. I said right out of college, right out of Stout.
Yeah.
Love it there. Great school, great kids. But it was just time for a change, get closer to home, be close to family, and just do something different, but the same, but different,
Yeah.
And what's cool is I'm leaving such a good foundation at Kennedy. I mean, my goal there was to get a new piece of equipment almost every year, make the shop better, give these kids more equipment to work with, to learn on every single piece of equipment, whether it's a ring roller or a box and pan brake or a shear, or a CNC plasma cutter, or a mill or a lathe or a TIG welder or a MIG welder. It was just give these kids as many pieces of equipment to do something on, because, I have kids who hate welding but are awesome at designing CAD and doing CNC plasma cutting, and vice versa. I got kids who hate that but love to weld. So I got enough stuff to keep all these kids rotating to find what they love and focus on and get good at it, to work on being marketable and get a job in it. So with Lakeville's, this new opportunity, it's like I got a whole new wind in my sails to bring my passion, my vision, revive this program and make it great and put Lakeville on the map like I did for Kennedy,
So I hope, Monty, that actually explains some of the stuff that a question I should say that you asked. I mean, these questions are off the chains. I wish that we could get to all of them. Anything about Lakeville you want to add in there?
I just, anybody, if you're watching, you're from Lakeville, be ready. I'm going to bring some excitement, some drive, some hard work ethics, and I'm excited to work with the kids there. It's a great community, great staff, great principal, great administration. Just awesome. It's a kind of a dream come true. I mean, I got my forever home here at Bass Acres. And when we got this place, we thought, now that I know we're here, I need to find a job south of the river, closer to home, because I hate freeway driving and traffic in the morning, traffic jams. Yeah. So this job came just at the perfect time where I'm like, wow, just the stars are all in alignment. Yeah. So I feel honored to have the job, and anybody from Lakeville listening, I'm gonna do my best to give it 110% and put us on the map.
Well, we got another question here from Noah from Denmark. Where do you see this program going in years to come?
Well, I'll tell you what. About 10 years ago, when I was into it, and people thought, because of the chopper craze and stuff, is it going to last? Is it going to keep going once the chopper craze dies? And absolutely, it's going to keep growing. It's going to keep getting better. For me, I see it. It's only as good as the instructor that cares, the people who support the school and the kids, and the industry like S&S and Harley and Baker Drivetrain and BDL belt drives. Those companies know what I'm doing. They care about what I'm doing. They help me with what I'm doing. You guys have me on the show. You knew who I am and what I'm doing. We've been buddies, and you wanted me on here to help talk about what I do.
Show. I mean,
because you care.
Awesome.
If you didn't care, you wouldn't have me, right? And that's why this program isn't going to die. I'm not going anywhere. Just because I'm switching schools, it's not going to fizzle out. No. I'm just going to make it better and bigger, and I'm going to make sure I still support Kennedy and whoever takes over my spot. I want that. The day I don't see Kennedy chopper class at Donnie Smith shows, the day I'm going to have a tear, because
this is, and what I was thinking about when I was actually coming out here is you're building the lifeline of the bikes that will either be built, the design of them, the people that might be in the sales, all parts of the motorcycle industry. You're literally spawning the seeds right now and giving the right tutelage, if you will, to actually get them in the industry. I mean, right now the industry needs more. And as we all know, I mean, I can't stand going to places where the kids are there and just either hard-headed, don't care, don't know customer service, can't help you with a part number, don't know what you're talking about, or give you the wrong thing. And it's just like, it's blown off. I mean, and that's half the reason
Success stories, dude, on some of these kids is amazing. Like a Clark Davis, if you're listening, Clark, man, one of my first students when I started the chopper class. He's an engineer now at Indian, All
right, Clark.
Yeah, they've been bringing me, been giving me some motors and stuff and donations to the class, which has been awesome. And, it's just to see a kid like that, and Andy, my student from the video, to see these students that I've worked with that I've made an impact on, it's like they say, you can't save them all, but you try. Yeah. But just to see the ones that I know for sure really got some out of it is going to help me make sure that this class never dies and my idea never dies. So, I guess we've been kind of babbling, but I see this as something that's going to grow and continue to grow, and I'm going to help spread it across the country.
There is a second part to the question. He actually, Noah also asked, how do you see electric motorcycles maybe coming into your class, as well as the cars as well?
Well, I'll tell you what, with looking at our renewable resources being used up and pollution and all that stuff, I see that stuff as probably being something that's going to be a big hitter. Maybe not in our lifetime, but it's going to come in maybe our students'
Do you think it will come into your class?
Well, that would be
electric motor, right? With the Harley Davidson, I know they have a.
That would be something that would be driven by a sponsorship. If somebody would donate that stuff to us, I'm not going to turn it down. Yeah. We'll take it in and we'll figure out a way to learn everything we need to teach on it. But I'm not going to go out and seek it and try to buy one.
No. I think he actually more has a question of that.
If we had the opportunity, I'd bring it in to show them, because that's what you do as a teacher. You want to show them everything, not just that one little window. You want to show that's why I love vintage Harleys. I show the kids, how did Harley start in the 1900s? A little box shed, man. Yeah. And how did they go with barely any equipment in a little shed and create what Harley is now? It's that's amazing. If those guys, the Davidsons, and the Harleys were alive today with this technology, we'd be flying to the moon right now. Yeah. It's just all those guys from way back then. You think
to me, they have drive.
Brilliance. Yeah.
They had drive.
And they worked hard.
Like you said, hard and had drive. So as you said, earlier, the hard work and the drive, it's your own fault if you don't succeed on that.
Right.
All right, we got another question. Larry from Staten Island. Larry's also a technical high school teacher, and he wants to know how stressful can some students be. I also know that each student minds can sometimes think outside of the box, or she should supposed to be, or what they should be doing in your environment. Your environment alone can be dangerous and harmful to students because of the equipment they are working with. So how hard is it for you to work under pressure with students running the equipment?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a great question. I get you. As a fellow shop teacher, we know. Our biggest fear in any class is safety.
Yeah.
My students, you walk in right now and say, class, before I say anything, what's the number one priority? They will yell safety. They know it because we covered safety for a good 2 weeks, before we do anything, because I just tell them there's no second chances when you lose a finger or lose an eye. Safety is number one priority. My shop is full. I have lathes and mills and box and pad brakes and all kinds of stuff. What's that?
Cutters?
Yep. CNC plasma cutter, CNC mill, manual mills, manual lathes. So as a tech ed teacher, shop teacher, we need to be able to have 25, 30 kids using all this different stuff and maintain safety. So I'm really strict on safety. The kids know that. I train them in well so that when they go into my shop, and I'm never out of sight for them. I see everybody. I know what they're doing. And, it's all about being there and making sure that you're doing your rounds, checking on everybody. You don't just say, oh, you're okay on the lathe, and then not look at them for 45 minutes. That's how they get hurt. You need to say, okay, they're okay, and go to the next stage. And then within 5 minutes, you're back over. Okay, what's going on here? You're good again. And just always being there watching them. My kids know if they have a question, if there's an issue, they forgot something, shut it down, stop immediately, ask me. There's no dumb questions.
Yep.
I'm not going to be mad at you. Be safe. Don't be sorry,
So thank you very much, Larry from Staten Island. Damn good question. We got Bob from New Mexico. Do you keep in touch with your students after they graduate and move on with their lives?
Yeah, that's the cool part about this is, I have them showing up. They'll just unannounced, they come home for summer break or something early, and I'm in class. They'll just pop in the door. Hey, Mr. Bass, I'm back from college. Just want to stop in and say hi and thanks. And students after they graduate and get a job, like Clark Davis, he's coming back donating motorcycles and Indian stuff to me because he was part of my class that really made it. And what was cool about Clark's story is when he had his first blueprint, and I think it was a fender on the newer Indians when he was helping design the Chiefs. And he brought me, we have a knuckle shuffle fundraiser every year. He came to the ride, brought me this tube. I unwrapped it. It was his first patented blueprint for the Indian motorcycle. And he signed it, said, Mr. Bass, thanks for making my dreams come alive.
That's it.
I was just
tears,
crying.
Tears.
Like, boom,
and
it was such emotional, but it was awesome because it really put to light, like, you know what, man, I made a difference on this guy, and he appreciates planted a seed,
and look what
it
flourished.
As a teacher, you hope that every single kid leads is doing that, and
isn't that like the top of your job? I mean, roughly.
That's the satisfaction that you love. I don't care about any top teacher award.
Yeah, no.
It's the students themselves what I care about. When I know my kids are
exceeded,
and they
because of what you taught them.
And even on social media, I get kids Instagram, Facebook that want to add me. And hey, I had you in class. Saw you on the news or saw this, man. Thank you so much for what you did. And I also get the opposite where kids who didn't have my class now are going, dang, I wish I would have taken your class. Missed out, It's like I see them at a biker and they're on a bike. I'm like, how'd you not have my class? Well, I couldn't get in or this and that.
Yeah. We got Keene Keene. I'm actually Keene. I'm assuming I'm butchering names. Keene from Australia. How can my high school get something like this in my school? Right now we have auto shop, but I really am interested in motorcycles more than cars. Is there any way to get a program started, or am I wasting my time?
It's all about your administration and who's teaching right now. If you got an automotive instructor right now, talk to him. Tell him, hey, Mr. Whoever you are, I appreciate what you're doing with me in these cars, but, could I bring in if I go buy an old bike from Craigslist, could I bring it in and work on it? Or do you have any connections? Give me some. And a good teacher, that's what they want to hear kids bring something that they want to do and some excitement. And hopefully it'll work. I mean, it can't always happen. I'm not saying it's foolproof, but if you let that teacher know that you really, truly want to do this, you have a passion for it, there's a good chance it's going to happen. So just talk to them, let them know, and, have them get a hold of me, KennedyChopperClass.com or BassMetalCraft.com. Email me personally. I'll try to help you get set up with people I know, find out where you're at, and if we have any connections. This is a camaraderie for me. I'm not doing what I do to just be in my little window. I want it to spread, and it already has spread, man. My good brother Steve Jones, Eden Chopper Class in New York, he's my brother from another mother. I mean, we look alike. We're the same, everything. I mean, we
ugly as hell.
Yeah, well, handsome devils. Very lucky wives we have. Right. But we, but he comes all the way from New York with his kids, and it's like, he's another one of those guys that his kids, he feeds from his kids. What do they want to learn, and how do we want to make it the best they can? And it's all about the teacher, man. You get a good teacher, they're gonna work with you.
And honestly, and if there's any sponsors out there, I mean, once again, how can they reach you? I mean, obviously we've been running your lower thirds, but this is like the biggest thing. And I mean, I'm waiting on something right now, but we might even have a connection that might be coming forward to you to help out with your endeavor at your new school. And I'm waiting to get the answer until we announce it.
Right.
But just because when we met that day, we had someone that was very interested in helping out.
That's exciting.
And and I'm hoping we get that call.
Yeah, and any sponsors, like, just get a hold of me. If there's more of the stuff that I need, I'll get you put on with Jones and Eden and some of the other schools. Let's try to spread the wealth, And anything I get, I'm going to make sure you get your bang for your buck. Not only because it's a tax right after the school, but I write for Cycle Source magazine. Chris Callan and Heather, owners of Cycle Source. Chris has been a brother of mine since way back when I was just getting this going. The Horse magazine, they helped me come out. I'd go out to the smokeouts and set up a little plastic card table and say, hey, I can't, Kennedy High School, I'm a chopper teacher, and those kind of guys, man. And so whenever I get sponsors, I get donations, I make sure you get your money's worth in the magazines, in my interviews, and the things I do, So, I know most people that donate stuff, they're like, I don't want that. We're just doing it because we want to help and want to keep this vision alive. And I love that. But for some of you, I mean, you know what? It's one of them worlds where the government takes a lot, man. There's paying in the taxes. It's good to get a little write-off, get a little kickback, So we're always looking, anything and everything. And, if it's something I don't need, I'll pass you on to somebody else, another school, another teacher that might need it. And we'll just try to keep this going, get more schools involved. If you have a school in your hometown, like that one student that wrote in, have them get a hold of me. I'll send curriculum. I wrote curriculum. I got stuff. I can send it PDFs. I can share Google Docs and stuff like that. I want this to spread. When I die someday, I want to be remembered as the guy that kind of helped get this
positive
going.
Or something that actually, on top of being positive, but having something that's positive in stone for people to learn from and or grow on, man. We're going to take a station commercial break right now. We got to thank the Road Hogs Media Network for hosting this show today. Road Hogs Magazine. Make sure you guys sign up for that Road Hogs Magazine. I can't say enough about some of the knowledge that we're all learning together here on the show right now. So, G, why don't you go ahead and take that station break, and we're going to come back with I think we got a safety corner video that we actually might be rolling for you guys as well. G, you got that bad boy lined up?
The safety corner today. So one of the things that I think about is a couple of weeks ago, I went on my first ride. You know, I got out, I did maybe 150 miles one way, 150 miles another. It's about a 300-mile ride. And I started noticing some things. And I'd ask the viewers, how many of you have been out on your first ride yet? Well, when you take that first ride, you're going to notice things about your bike that you could pay attention to. You're going to notice things about your riding gear, and you're going to notice things about your riding skills. It'll be particularly acute because you haven't ridden for several months. So if you live in the Northwest or you live in Wisconsin, okay, so you've been off the bike 4 or 5 months. But in most cases, you've had some sort of pause, but you will notice things more than if you're riding day to day all the time. So when I was out on my ride, what I noticed is that my hands were cold. Chuck, you know me, I got this thing for drive-thrus, right? So I'm in the drive-thru and I'm ordering my sausage and egg and cheese sandwich, and guess what? You know, I reach in to get my wallet and my hand is a claw. All right, so what happened? Well, while I was on the ride early morning, maybe it was around 50 degrees or so, I'm going 60, 65 miles an hour. Well, there's a thing called wind chill. Okay, so the wind chill at that speed, at that temperature, is going to cool. It's going to feel like on my flesh 38 degrees. So it's 55. I'm driving 65 or so, and it feels like 38 degrees to your skin. So bottom line, my hands got cold. So that's because of the wind chill. The problem with wind chill is it can lead to hyperthermia. Hyperthermia is when your body goes into survival mode because you're too cold. So it's gonna keep everything warm, keep all the blood flowing to your core. But guess what's not at your core or the middle of your body? That's right, your brain. So basically your body starts saying, we're in survival mode. So brain, guess what? No blood for you. And if your brain's not getting good blood flow, then there goes your judgment, right? Your judgment starts to fail. You start to make poor decisions. The other thing that happens is those extremities called your fingers and your toes. If the brain's not getting any blood, guess what? The hands and the toes are not that important either, right? So now it starts that your hands and your feet and your toes and your hands start to get cold. And now you don't have the dexterity to operate the controls on your motorcycle. So can you see what we're getting to? So now, because I didn't have the best gear, my judgment is impaired and my ability to operate the motorcycle is impaired. Oh, you know, it's impaired within reason, slightly impaired. I was cold, I wasn't dead. So keep on moving forward. So what's the solution to this? Well, what I have here queued up is a photo of 3 different pair of gloves. These gloves are by Lee Parks Designs. And this is what I'm recommending. You should have on your person, or you should own at least 3 sets of gloves. One glove is just like a lightweight summer glove, and that's good for, you know, you're tooling around, you're doing some riding, and it's summertime. That's perfect. Then you see the center glove. This is a gauntlet type glove. This glove is probably good for temperatures above 50 degrees, right? So it's above 50, but it's still kind of cool. The gauntlet gloves will serve real well for that. But now when I'm going 50 or below, I may select the last glove, which is a gauntlet glove, but it also has insulation, right? It has insulation to kind of help keep the warmth in my hands, help keep them from getting frostbite. So other than having the right gear, you got to make the right choice. And the right choice is to make sure that your gloves are on your bike, right? So that's the other thing. You can have the gloves at home, but they're not doing you any good on your ride. So that's my big tip for today. Make sure that you have the right gear for the swings and the weather that you might face on your ride. Living in the high desert in California, it could be 65, 70 during the day, but then drop to 50 in the evening, and you're traveling at 55, 65 miles an hour. And like I said, that wind chill feels cold. So that's the safety corner for today. One of the things I like to make the viewers aware of, if you go to totalcontroltraining.net, you can find information on our Lee Parks Total Control Advanced Riding Clinics. I'll be hosting one May 27th, May 28th in Madison, Wisconsin. We'll offer one class one day, one class another. Those classes will be taught by Mr. Lee Parks himself. If you're interested, go to the website, check us out. All right, Chuck, stay cool.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed that safety corner with Leon Winfrey from Total Control. Now, at this point, we just want to give a couple shout outs to some people that we care about. So I'm going to actually let Kevin go first. So who do you want to shout out, Kevin?
Well, obviously my family, my wife and kids, Amy, the boys, always putting up with me having to get stuff done and being away from the house, but I'm trying to stay home more. All of our sponsors, Spectral Oil, Cycle Source Magazine, S&S Cycles, Harley Davidson, Baker Drivetrain, BDL Belt Drives. Anybody and everybody that's helped us, I just can't thank you all enough. It's what keeps this going. A lot of the little guys that just care, it means a lot. Trust me, and actually I'm going to be drag racing this summer, Byron, Illinois at the Meltdown Drags. I got an old dual car Byron head drag racer. So I want to thank Lee Speed Shop, Lee Wickstrom, the master motor man, helped put 2 rear heads on this iron head with us at the class. And he's going to be my man that I'm going to learn from. He's got the knuckle dragger. And Haps Leather is going to be, they're sponsoring me with a race suit. They're making that right now. And just anybody, if I didn't forget you, don't think we don't care, because, man, there's just so many of you. Every one of you makes a difference. If it wasn't for people like, Chuck and the industry and all the companies I mentioned and the little mom and dads that help out, we got sponsors coming from all over that keep it alive. Without our sponsors, we'd be dead. So thank you. Appreciate that.
I'm actually give a shout out to F-Town Brewing in the house. F-Town, appreciate you guys. We weren't actually, I know you weren't ready for this, but we just want to give you some love because you've shown us some love in the past. When I came here and I actually brought Kevin some F-Town, and he actually had this sticker on his truck. So I just want to give a F-Town.
Noah, what's up, Noah?
Travis, what's up? Appreciate what you did for our open house. So without further ado, I'd like to go through a couple other sponsors. Huff Oil Group. We actually have a Huff Oil, or I should say a AMSOIL contest on the Road Hogs magazine. We're going to be giving away a case of oil. So please make sure you guys go on to the Road Hogs magazine and sign up for that case of oil giveaway with Huff Oil. Second of all, Doc Underwood with Hog Gators. Hog Gators, beautiful product. I'm going to have to give Kevin a set of these things so he can take them on them trips that he goes across country with so he can check them out. But you guys check out hoggators.com. Third, I'd like to talk to you about Bikers Welcome USA. Tammy Grant. Tammy, thanks a lot for all the promotion that you do for us, as well as all the events that you post for everyone. Guys, check out Bikers Welcome USA. You can actually post your events there live for free. For your upcoming events, let you know where biker-friendly places are in your area as well. And we'd also like to give it up for the Road Hogs magazine. Makes this possible. Not so much the magazine, but we'd like to definitely make sure all of our viewers get a copy of the Road Hogs magazine. It's free. Go ahead to the Road Hogs Network, sign up for the Road Hogs magazine. It's a free copy. It's got great articles in there. We might actually ask my man Kevin Baas here to write an article going forward, and actually maybe even have a follow-up a couple months from now to see how his new class is going, everything like that. And last but not least, Driven IMS. For any of your marketing needs that you might need help with, Driven IMS is there for you. I really appreciate all the questions that came in. We got 1,048 questions we didn't answer. Once again, I'm gonna give you guys final numbers. Final numbers tonight were 46,158. Broken another record, my brother. From another mother.
Thank you.
I can't appreciate the fans as well as the viewers, everybody that's tuned in today. His following of people that obviously made this show awesome.
A couple more shout outs too. The Rodeo, Jeremy Gilbert. You know
Rodeo. All right, Rodeo.
He put on the Knuckle Shuffle, helped us raise money for years, man. Big love to Rodeo and all his hard work.
School, UW Stout.
Stout man. Becky and Levi Palfrey, they've put on a ride the last couple of years for Brad Bass, who passed away in a motorcycle accident. They do a little ride and donate money to the class these last 2 years. So thank you very much for doing that. You guys down there are awesome. It's awesome when you just get, a small community of people, do a little ride, raise some money, and it's for a good honor. Brad Bass's honor, man. We love you, man. And, they come up to the Donnie Smith show from Iowa, and donate it to the class and want to meet the kids, and they care. Those are the kind of people I love as sponsors. They truly care. They love seeing what it's doing.
Instead of just money, they actually give.
Yeah, they worked hard for it, and they like to see it go where it's going to help.
All right, everybody. Until next week, I appreciate y'all. Peace.